Zeno, tell us, how did you get your start? And do you praise your parents every day for having such an awesome first name?
I used to hate my name.
Because the name like Zeno is like, why wouldn't you be an anime voice actor?
I guess, right? I used to hate it. I used to think it was like so lame. Like I would like be on the playground like, oh, Zeno, it's so like I was like always like, I wish my name was like Andre or something. That's cool. Zeno's lame. That's how I used to think. But everybody would keep saying it was cool. I was like, why are you saying it's cool?
What's the origin of the name? I've never heard it before.
It's Greek. My mom, one of her friends was like, introduced her to the name and was like, you know, like, why don't you think about Zeno? It's this Greek philosopher. And my mom really liked it, so she like stuck with it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm called Miles. I was named after a distance. How the name was that?
Hey, we have Miles Morales now, so you're, I'm sure.
He's doing it for all of us.
Yeah.
He's doing it for all of us. Mixed race as well, so you've got to respect it.
Right.
Okay, so this is a two-part question. You know, you're a talented, you're a man of many voices.
Thanks.
What was your like first ever like kind of voice impression growing up? Like, what was the first thing you saw, and you were like, damn, I can do this?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. I think like I played a lot of games growing up, and I watched a lot of like cartoons and anime. So whenever I would play games on my own, I played a lot of toys, like action figures, and I would always give them my best versions of what cool anime voices sounded like. So that was like for me maybe like Ty from Digimon, who I ended up eventually playing, right?
Yeah,
and like
nice. That's surreal.
Did
you bring the action figure with you to the audition? You're like,
I never actually had a Ty toy.
This goes way back.
Imitated the voice.
Nice.
Maybe Yuri Lowenthal? I feel like he had like the coolest anime voice that I tried to imitate a lot.
I mean, he really blew up quite like recently, because obviously like Spider-Man stuff. But this guy was Sasuke. Like,
yeah, he was Sasuke.
He goes way back.
Ben 10. He was in my first ever job. He was Ben. And my first job was Ben 10 Alien Force.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So tell us a bit about how'd you land that.
So when I got signed to my agent, because now we go back to the first question, right? I took this program and auditioned in front of a bunch of agents. One of them signed me. And they sent me on this audition. It was called Ben 10 Hero Generation at the time. I didn't have cable, so I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But I booked it because they were looking for a young black actor to play this young black character. And I booked it, and it turned out to be at Cartoon Network Studios. And I didn't even know that, because I was just like surrounded by all these voiceover legends. And I had no idea who they were, like, at the time. I only knew them by the things they voiced. Sure. So, like, Yuri told me he was Sasuke, and I was like, you're Sasuke in Naruto? And that's also how I kind of learned that, like, I was like, oh, like, there are people who do that. Like, I can do that, too.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. It was awesome. It was like, I love Cartoon Network.
So that came... So did that come after, or like, so what made you actually do the course and stuff in the first place? Did you come from like a drama background, or what was?
In middle school, I was forced. We as classes, we had to go and see a preview of the play. I had never seen a play before that, but in the play, all these kids ran through the hall. My elective was art at first. I thought I was going to be like an artist, like a manga artist.
Yeah.
And all these kids came running through the hall, and I was like, what is that? How do I do that? Like, I want to do that. So I asked to switch my elective to theater, or to drama, as it was called in middle school. And I had to wait till the next semester to transfer, but I did immediately. And then I was just in drama, like at theater schools, like the whole rest of the time. Yeah. So when my mom knew that I was into acting, she heard this advertisement on the radio for the program that I would eventually take. Wow. That introduced me to my agent.
Well, that's brilliant. So was that program specifically for voice acting, or did you actually start in live action?
Yeah, it was for like, it was supposed to be like they had that they wanted every kid to be a triple threat. That was their sort of like MO. Like,
they called triple threat.
Their mission statement. So like singing, acting, and dancing, which is like,
nice.
I was good at one of those things. You know? So it was, you know, I had to write a monologue and perform. I performed the monologue.
Well, you had to write one yourself.
I didn't have to write one myself. I chose to. I chose to I was like, oh, like I want to write something that means something to me, and so I wrote it.
Well, that's great because you're able to play to your strengths there.
Yeah.
And actually probably perform an even more powerful performance rather than having to
like
stay
try
in
to
confines
adapt to something else. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, all right. So you seem like a man of culture, a man of quality.
A little bit.
You know, you're into the vibes. You're into the anime and the gaming vibes.
Yeah.
So like, what do you wind down to? Like, what's your kind of favorite franchises and gaming and anime and?
Okay. My favorite franchise was of course, Kingdom Hearts.
So we're going to Kingdom Hearts fans.
Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, I see.
Oh,
yeah. Kingdom Hearts is. It was such a foundational series franchise for me. I based as a kid, I based my personality around Sora. Like I was like I want to be just like him.
Yeah.
So it's super like foundational for me. So Kingdom Hearts will always have like a special place in my heart. Pun intended. Right now, games? I don't know. I fluctuate. I'm playing Tales of Arise right now.
Okay.
I love the Tales of series. I love like really good JRPGs. I love Apex Legends. I'm a big Apex Legends fan. Yeah.
There is something really special about that first Kingdom Hearts game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't think that to this day has ever been like an anime music video that starts the game.
Yeah.
You're like, what is going on?
Yeah. I mean, Persona. Persona.
Oh, no, that's true.
Persona.
Yeah.
Persona.
But this was 2002.
Yeah.
2001.
Before.
There was only Persona 2 out at that time.
Right. I don't know if that would have one.
Yeah.
But before Kingdom Hearts, I don't think there was anything like that.
I know, mate. I mean, it was very simple and clean.
It was.
It was.
No,
actually, that's quite interesting because you've obviously started in American cartoons and things like that, and then now you've made the transition to more Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
Because obviously you worked on things like Young Justice as well, which is great. So, working for such culturally different things.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a big difference in the process, or how it's done, or how it's portrayed?
A little bit. A little bit. Like their anime does have like this very specific sound, but I think like a lot of the anime that gets worked on today tries to like stray away from like the quote unquote anime sound into sort of they want it to be more like grounded and realistic. The biggest difference I think for like Western animation, which we call prelay, or like anime, is just the technical of the matching the lip flaps that we have to do in anime because we're recording to already done animation, right? So the words are written to sort of fit the mouth flaps. That's like I think that's the biggest difference. Otherwise, it's stylistically, I just have a bit more freedom in like Western animation, so I can like improv a little bit, or I can like give it a little more of my own like a little bit of a personality I created for it. A lot of the anime I do, I like sort of use the original performance as like a skeleton base, and then I try to add unique aspects based off of that.
Sure. So actually on to that. So when you're auditioning and stuff, what is your approach? When you get a brief, do you go, right, I'm going to try and do this brief to the best I can, or do you go in and go, yo, I'm Zeno. I'm gonna get a little Swiss here.
Sometimes like,
they don't like it.
They'll never hire me.
They don't like it, bro.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends on the brief. Like sometimes the breakdown will be like, we'll have like all like sometimes for like Genshin, right? Like Sethos had this like gigantic like 1 page of who he is, and I was like, I'm not reading all that. Yeah, it's like happy for you or sorry that happened. Mostly, I tried to read the things that were most important for his personality. Right, his backstory is really important too because it informs his personality. But like when I get to stuff that I don't necessarily need at that time to get the audition done, I try to sort of avoid that. Just because it gives me a little more freedom to like do what I want. So I'm always like, yeah, but what would be fun for me to do? Or like, what do I think as a consumer would be cool to hear out of this character that I can do, right? So like a lot of the times sometimes I'll go, okay, like I want to do it like this. And then sometimes I go, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. You know, like that's more fun and creatively fulfilling.
So would you say, like, from like when you're approaching an audition, it's always good to not overthink it, really, just kind of do it?
Oh yeah, because by the time, usually the stuff I overthink, I never get. Because I spent so much time overthinking it and like being really precious. Oh, I wouldn't say it's bad being precious about it, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm really precious about. I'm really precious about my technique. I'm always like, auditions take me like an hour to 2 hours to do all the time.
So could you elaborate on that? What is technique in this industry? What would you say that is?
I think that the most is just learning how to act, like learning how to like connect with your inner emotional world quickly, immediately, and realistically, and honestly. Behind the microphone. Sometimes in other like acting mediums, you'll have like the stage, right? Or you'll have the other actors, or you'll have like things sort of that can give you sort of stimuli to work off of. In voiceover, you're doing all of that kind of on your own, like in a vacuum, unless you're doing a group report. So usually I think for technique, it's just like, how do you connect with yourself really immediately and viscerally? And quickly, you know.
Because there's a lot of like, aspiring actors who do actually struggle heavily with actually tapping into their emotions and bringing up things. Because obviously, say if it's a traumatic part, you're going to have to kind of maybe think about something traumatic that's happened in your life. So what would you say to people like them who do struggle with kind of tapping into that dark place and going all the way with it? What makes it easy for you?
Putting yourself in that situation, like sometimes you don't have to think of a bad time in your life, but think of like for me, like for people who play Persona, right? Like there was this big scene in Persona that Junpei had, and like a loved one was dying, right? And it was like, how would this make me feel if this were the person I loved?
Right.
You know, like if I'm putting someone dear to me in this position, and take myself there, and that takes a lot of trust, right? Some actors, they're so busy and I'm guilty of this too, like trying to take yourself there or forcing yourself to get there, you don't get there. But when you like trust yourself, and you stop thinking about, I gotta get there, just get there. That's such a terrible direction, but it's like, that's the difference. It's like,
so what you believe to come out is the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A teacher of mine said, whatever fear or emotion you bring to the read is going to be heard. So if you're doing a read and you're doubting your emotions, or you're doubting your emotional ability, or you're overthinking feeling the emotions, it's going to feel like you're overthinking feeling the emotions. You're going to read that way. So if you're actually present and truthful with yourself, and you trust yourself, and you take yourself there, you'll get there. When you feel it, they'll feel it.
And it is like kind of, I don't know, acting's kind of like jumping off a mountain in a way. You kind of got to let yourself go completely.
Yeah.
Because if you keep back, you won't be able to actually do the role, wouldn't you?
To that point, that same teacher said, if you were jumping off a cliff to your death, would you want to go out like this? Or would you want to go out like this?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that's acting, right? Like, you gotta go there. You gotta take it there. They'll always bring you back if you need to bring it back.
But give them that room. Give them that option.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, they don't have an option.
Because then they'll feel it, and then they'll be like, okay, that was good, but just hold the tears for like 5 seconds. You know, like they can give you that instead of like, give me more.
You're dropping wisdom.
Little bit.
Dropping wisdom.
Yeah.
We got gold here.
I took a lot of classes,
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just regurgitating what other teachers have told me.
So when it comes to like, obviously, you mentioned big fan of Kingdom Hearts. Obviously we've got 4 around the corner.
Oh, okay.
So if you, in a dream world, you were able to voice a certain someone in that franchise, who would it be? And I tell you what, I'll make it a little bit easier for you.
Okay.
What would be like your favorite Disney world to appear? What would you like to see?
Well, we already have Tron, which I thought would be like really, really cool. And we already have Big Hero 6, so I kind of...
We do, yeah.
I don't know.
We have Tron and Tron 2 as well, don't we? Yeah.
So, like, for Disney, I don't know.
Maybe Marvel, cheeky bit Star Wars.
I was going to say maybe Marvel, like Marvel's New York.
Yeah.
You know, like that would be cool because we already have San Francisco, so we could just do like New York.
Seeing Sora as a Muppet, I think, would go a long way.
Yeah,
that'd be iconic. Kermit in your party.
Yeah,
You know?
I would love that. I would love that actually.
That'd be mental.
If I could voice anybody, I don't know. I would hopefully want to voice some sort of Keyblader.
Nice.
You know, I was like, I'm always like, if Haley Joel Osment decides he doesn't want to play Sora anymore, I would love to like step up and be Sora.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. So also, you know, you're a Demon Slayer, man.
I am.
Have you got any Demon Slayer?
Yeah. I like Genya.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. So,
Genya.
Genya, tell us about that. How did that come about?
Okay, so I really wanted to be a Demon Slayer. Like I just really want to lead a shonen. So the casting director, I sort of study a lot about like where things end up happening, just so I can have a good idea of like putting myself in the right position at the right time. So I knew like the studio that was going to dub it, and I know the casting director, and so I emailed the casting director when the show was announced, and I was like, hey, if you guys get the show, is it okay if I would love to audition. And she was like, okay, like I'll keep you in mind, because I just felt like I wouldn't have auditioned, you know, and I was like, no, I want to, like I want to prove that I can do this. And then like every month or so for like 6 months, like I followed up like once a month, and it was like, hey, like thank you for like bringing me in for this job this day. Please continue to keep me in mind for this if it comes down the pipeline. And then the auditions came out, and I auditioned. And I didn't book any of those guys, but like a few weeks later, I got an email saying that I had been cast as Genya, maybe based off of my audition for Inosuke, I'm assuming. And yeah, then we did one episode, and he was never heard from again until now. But when I booked, I was already reading the manga, so when I booked it, the manga was on the Swordsmith Village arc, so I knew Genya had more to do. So I just spent 3 years like, waiting. You know, like waiting. Like one day Genya's gonna. And then what was funny is like Genya would show up in like other stuff and just like not say anything. Like he was in one of the movies. I think he was in the Infinity Train movie and just said nothing. I was like, say something so I can work. It was really fun. And then finally, like by the time it came around to voice Genya, like Demon Slayer had already like exploded in popularity. Yeah. So like I just need to come in and like measure up to everybody who's already like been doing such great work for like 2 seasons. But I was super excited to like have more to do as Genya. So I was like watching every episode before it came out to study and be like, okay, how am I gonna approach this scene? Like, how am I gonna approach this scene when it's my turn? And like, what am I gonna do? And you know, so I just was like, I have to give it 110%. I don't want to be like the weak link in this show. So.
Well, you made actually a lot of interesting points. So obviously, someone like you who gets a lot of work in this field, obviously through your agent and stuff, I find it fascinating that you personally still had to go and chase this role and open the door yourself. So so does that never stop? Because I'm sure a lot of people usually think, all right, well, you know, if I've been in Persona and I don't have to. Casting directors, they're gonna come to me. You know what I mean? So
this is before all that. This is like before I was like working like that. I don't even know if I was Hawks at that time. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't really ever stop. There's always, I think, another level or another thing you want to get to. Maybe if I'm like Yuri Lowenthal level or like Johnny Young Bosch level, like if I'm at a place where like people, if I get to a place where people are just like emailing me like, do you want to play the lead in our biggest upcoming anime? Maybe I'll like feel like I could just relax. But I always feel like I have to like keep working hard. I always feel like I have to like until I get there. You know, I always feel like there's always another level to reach. There's always another plateau to get to.
And if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
So would you recommend that to kind of aspiring actors here and stuff, and tell them to like, you know, stalk these casting directors down?
No. I wouldn't recommend that at all. But I do recommend like fighting for yourself and betting on yourself and taking that risk if you feel it, right? This was a casting casting director who I knew was more open to speaking to actors, right? But this is also a casting director I knew like I could send a demo to and she'll listen to it, right? So I mean, not that I know personally, like other actors would be like, oh, just email her your demo, she'll listen to it, right? But there were other studios I hadn't worked with yet, like Digimon, right? I see a Thai cosplayer out there. What's going on? Like Digimon, like that studio I wasn't in with for a really long time, and like they were always just holding auditions, and I just never would audition. So I was like, I'm gonna email them, because what are they gonna do? Just continue to not send me work? Like, like my only loss is they just will continue to not hire me. They're already not hiring me. So I think I just like took a bet on myself, and I go, hey, like I'm Zeno Robinson, I live in LA, and these are my materials. I've worked on My Hero Academia. I worked on this, and I know you do anime, and I'd love to work with you, and I'd love to audition for your stuff. I would say like do that, right? Like if you know, or even if you don't know, but you like are approaching it from a business, like professional, like, hey, I am such and such. I live in your area, I have work and material that's like tangible that I can send you.
Show you.
Yeah, like definitely do that, I think. Like, and if they don't respond, give it a couple months and do it again until they do. Because what are they gonna do? Continue to not hire you? There's only two ways it'll work. They'll either continue to not hire you, or they'll like hire you, or they'll at least audition you, right? They'll like read your email and go, okay, I'll give this person a shot, and they'll send you an audition.
There's no downside.
Yeah.
There's no downside.
No downside.
No, get what you want.
Yeah. Just be persistent about yourself and fight for yourself as an artist, as an actor, because that's you always, you know, you can get your agent and you can get your manager or whatever, but for me, I always think your biggest champion still will always be yourself. It will always still be you. You know what you can and can't do. Your agent is always going to go based off of your work and like what they know you can do based off of what they heard, but you're the one who knows what you can do artistically the best and the most. So like you gotta, in my opinion, sort of trust yourself on that too, on that front a little more.
So lastly, this is a bit of a tough one. So brace yourself. Brace yourself. But you know, what would you say is your like biggest success today? And that doesn't even need to be like the biggest thing you've been in. Right. It's like you personally, you were like, this is amazing. Like wow, like I feel like I've done it, Mum. I'm here. And also, what would you say was like kind of like the biggest lessons you learned from maybe like a failure where you were like, oh god, this hit me hard, but you know what? If that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here.
I think one of my biggest successes is the Dragon Ball movie.
Oh,
I was like
superhero.
Yeah.
You got any Dragon Ball fans?
Dragon Ball fans? A couple? Wow, there's not a lot.
Here we are. Wow, I was expecting a lot more.
I was expecting a lot more.
It's been going on for 40 years.
It's a legendary show. But I think just because of what Dragon Ball means to me, like as the grandfather of like all anime, like it's something you never think you'll ever be, really. Something you like admire from afar. Like, and so like being in that and in the movie that was playing in theaters everywhere in IMAX.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
It was it was one of the few kind of anime films that got such a huge Western release.
Yeah.
It got like a Pixar level of like pushing.
Absolutely insane.
Which was amazing.
And so I think that was the surreal, like, like I never ever feel like I made it. I don't know why. I don't know what it'll take to feel like I made it. Right? Even then, I was like, nah, you know, like Gamma 2 is not like he's like not my most famous character at all, right? There's like Owl House and there's Hawks, right? But I feel like for me personally, that was a big accomplishment for me. Like even to the point where like I got that job because Chris Sabat, who I have like worked with tangentially one time, but we did a couple cons together, called me and asked me to audition.
Wow.
And I'm a guy who grew up listening to his voice.
He has been doing it for a long time.
It's like this man who like is a legendary individual to me is personally calling me and asking me to be in essentially his franchise, right? Like his baby franchise. Like that's his, like something that's like his baby. right? Like he carried Dragon Ball to the West.
But also, those actors are superheroes because I don't know how a man can get paid to scream for 20 years
and like not lose their voice, right?
And still construct
be able to do
sentences.
it.
It is quite remarkable.
It's between him and Sean Schemmel, like it's so impressive. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
And I think like the biggest lesson, and it's something I said earlier, is just like you gotta I didn't 100% give up on all of it. You know, there was a time where I was like kind of close to giving up. Like there was Ben 10, and then there was nothing for like 7 years, and I was still
7 years.
7 years.
So what did you do during that time?
I was going to school, and I was auditioning, and then eventually, you know, I was growing up, and I was like going to school, and I was going to college, and then I was like working retail and taking acting classes, and you know, getting dropped from my agency, and then getting re-signed to my agency, and a lot of that was, and then, you know, I started working here and there, but I had given up on anime because I just felt like I couldn't do it. You know, I just felt like they wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah.
And I had a friend of mine, and he sat me down. His name's Airlim. He's another voice actor. He's great. I remember we got sandwiches, and I was like, I don't know, man. I'm done with anime. Like, I've been trying, and they never hire me, and they never audition me, and you know, like it's just not working. And I'm working on Young Justice, and I'm working on Big City Greens, and like, why would I want to do anime for then? And he was like, because you love it, man. Because that's what you want to do. And he's just like, just don't give up. Like, just keep like, you just got to stay on their mind. And I was like, no, I'm tired of this. Other people can get auditions faster than me, or better than me, or whatever. Like, no. And he was like, just keep bothering them. And I was like, fine, I'll give it a year. I'll give it a year, and I'm just gonna be annoying. And that's where I came up with the mantra. What are they gonna do? Continue to not hire me? There's nothing to lose here, so fine. And I'll just keep bugging them, and I'll just keep asking. And you know, we'll see what happens in a year. Boom, I'm Hogs. like maybe like later that year, literally, like was when My Hero happened. When the Shiha Saikai, I was Daedoro Sakaki in season 4, and then the director really liked working with me, and then that's when I became Hogs, and then Go happened like literally like a month later, and like then everything else right after.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, great friend. Every time anything happens, he's like proud of you. I'm like, I owe all of this to you. Like, I literally owe all of this to you.
Hey, like Sora, friendship is your power.
Yeah, my friends are my power. There we go. And I'm theirs.
There we go. Right, we're gonna throw it over to you guys now for a cheeky little Q&A. Leroy will be bobbing and weaving and see. Oh, he's
the Keyblade in the air.
He's got the Keyblade. Is it Oathkeeper? Is that one?
The Star Seeker, I believe.
Star Seeker. There we go.
Called Shooting Star.
Shooting Star.
Shooting Star.
Oh, it's like near the end game one. Near the end.
Zeno.
What's up?
Back in 2008, I know you did the voice of Alan Albright in Benson Alien Force, correct?
That was my first job?
And you knew Yuri Luthor, who now does Spider-Man.
Yes.
And if he was also, do you think you could be as good as Miles Morales?
Of course. I auditioned for that, Miles, in that game.
And how did that go?
It was super cool. It felt like we were like Ben and Alan again. I would love to play Miles Morales someday at some point. And right now, if you like follow anything I'm doing on Twitter, Greg Weisman, who created the Spectacular Spider-Man show, is doing these he's writing the Spectacular Spider-Men, the comic book. And so me and Josh have been doing a lot of the promotional motion comics for it. And he emailed me asking me to be Miles and Greg, and I completely freaked out because I had just been wanting to play Miles for a really long time. And I really respect Greg, and everything he's done is gold. And I mean, he created Spectacular Spider-Man, Young Justice, Gargoyles, and to be asked personally by him to play Miles was just the honor of a lifetime. So
I mean, well, they might be bringing back Spider-Man the animated series like they did with X-Men.
Oh, X-Men, yeah.
So that would be cool if Miles Morales was an addition
just to show up. That would be crazy, yeah. So interesting.
Hi.
Hello.
Out of all the policemen in the outhouse, which one's your favorite? And also, I did a story for you.
Thank you. I will come collect it. Hopefully the mic doesn't trip out when I come grab it. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're so talented. Look at this. Is this me? Wow. Thank you. my favorite talisman is it's Flapjack. It's gotta be Flapjack, right? I think Flapjack's always the correct answer. Thank you for your question.
That's so sweet.
I think we had some questions over here, so I want to try and get around as many people as we can.
Oh, it's back there. Okay.
Also got to get my steps in, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
What was it like forcing Junpei in Persona 3 and like bringing like new approach just to like an iconic character?
Oh, it was so cool. It's so funny. Everybody who worked on that game got an email or got a personal phone call from Valve saying they were in it, and I didn't. So everybody in my cast who was like secretly emailing, like messaging me on the side saying like, "Oh, you're in the game." I was like, "No, I'm not. Don't say that to me. Don't say that to me, because it'll break my heart if I actually am not in the game." So I don't believe it until I'm in that booth and doing the role. Persona 3 was my favorite of the series. It was one of my first introductions to Persona. Yuko was my girlfriend, Team Yuko, everybody, in that game. And it just meant a lot. Like, everyone, like, you know, Yuri's is in that cast, and like Liam O'Brien, and like there's just so many legends that I grew up listening to and looking up to that are in that cast and would make that game very memorable. And like, I've always wanted to be in a Persona game, that never in a billion years did I think, one, that 3 would ever get remade, or that I'd be in it at that, as Junpei. It was a very personal experience playing Junpei. There was a lot of moments, especially recording that game, that I felt just like him. And there was a lot of moments where, during the course of recording, that our lives, like we're in sync and we're intertwining, and I was going through the same things as him. So everything you heard in that game is sort of real, right? It was like really grounded in, because I was like going through it too. And I really just wanted to make it my own. I didn't want to be compared to anybody else, because those performances are legendary and cemented on their own. And I would be comparing myself to the previous performances, so I didn't really want to do that. So I really tried to just have a lot of fun and do my best work, because I really respect the voice work in Persona. I played a lot of Persona 5, and like I think it's some excellent voice work. And I just really wanted to just like live up to like that sort of standard of like voice work. So I just went in the booth, and like it was some of the most involved I've gotten in a character in a while. I brought a hat to every session, and like just like if it gave my performance like 10% more, I would do it. And it just felt like I really wanted to make a mark with it and like stand out. And I'm hoping that I accomplished that. But it felt great. It was like getting to say Persona for the first time was like, oh my God, it's real. You know, like up to then I was like, I don't know, like this could be some other game, but saying it just really solidified it, and it I don't know, it just meant the world to me, as it's so synchronized to my life that I could talk about Persona forever, but it meant a lot. It was really cool.
How long did it take to record? Because obviously it's a huge game.
Too short. We were done in a couple of months, and I was like, that's it?
Wow.
I want to do more. I think it took us about maybe between 4 to 6 months, I think, of recording. But you know what? I talked to, first of all, Alejandro and I met Lotus Juice, like at a con, like it was the coolest thing. He'll tell you about it too. Like he was like, oh my gosh, Lotus Juice is here. And I was like, oh my God, Lotus Juice is here. So like we met Lotus Juice and we went to his concert, and then he like, we had like dinner with him after. So I was asking him, I was like, how long does it take? It took us a few months to record it. How long does it take like the Japanese actors to record this whole game? He said 2 days.
What?
2 days. They show up to the studio in the morning and they don't leave until the evening.
That is crazy.
And they do it again the next day, and boom, the whole game's done. I said, what? That's insane. But it's so, I want to be a fly on the wall.
It's like 100 hours per campaign.
But that's how involved you have to be. That sounds like excellent. I would love to do it. Because every time I record, I'm like, I can do this all day. You know, I would love to like actually do it all day.
A Mario game must take like half an hour.
Right.
It's crazy.
If you could spend like a day with Junpei, what would like you do together?
We probably play video games, every manga. Like, we're both into the same stuff that way, so like, we probably like go to the mall, play some games, read some manga. I would love to go, because he's like into planting, like I would love to like do some gardening with Junpei, and eat, like, we probably eat some like grilled barbecue or sushi or something. But yeah, we probably just hang out like boys.
What's your favorite dinosaur, and what kind of Pokemon trainer could you be if Pokemon actually existed in real life?
T-Rex, and I would be a fighting type trainer, I think, or a fire type, because my favorite's Quilava. But I really love like Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee and Hitmontop and all those guys. Like Tyro, I think Tyro is so cool.
You know Hunter from the Owl House?
I know a little bit about him.
What's your like favorite voice line of him?
But I can't go back empty-handed. Not again. So, this is my grave. Want me to dig you one too? I just love the laugh. I was like, I don't know where that came from.
Hi, out of all of your voice acting roles so far, which one's your favourite?
It's really hard to pick. I try to pick it through like I try to pick through like what do I feel like is unfinished about like things that I've done. And so right now it's Fogado from Fire Emblem. I just feel like there's so much more I would want to do with Fogado. Like everybody else is like, I've told your story, or like you were really fun. But Fogado is like, your story's not done, there's more to tell, you know, so he's probably my favorite right now.
I've got two, one for my friend.
Okay.
Your favourite Hawks line that you've ever said, and then mine is Endeavour and Hawks or Dabby and Hawks.
Okay, my favorite line is, what can I say? I'm an optimistic guy. Dobby or Endeavor? I'm kind of a Mirko guy, so that's usually my number one pick. If I had to pick between Dobby or Endeavor, I'd probably pick Dobby. Sorry, and Ox. Can we get this? Oh, there you are.
I don't know if you've seen, but on like places like Twitter, I've seen people have like a real fondness for like the friendship between, rivalry of sorts between Wanderer and Sethos, considering his character story and his voice lines. I wanted to know, what do you think about their relationship as friends, or like Wanderer in general?
I think right now their relationship is very like, Sethos is like, I'm gonna get that guy to open up. He's gonna tell me everything. He's gonna tell me all his secrets and stuff like that. And like Scaramouche is like, or Wanderer is like, that guy's kind of weird. I don't know why he keeps following me around and asking about my app. So I think it's more of a cat and mouse kind of thing right now. It's like Sethos is sort of chasing and Wanderer is sort of like avoiding. Sethos will get him though. He'll get him a little bit.
Can you do a line from Hawks when you like capture twice?
Okay. What did he say when he captured twice? What did he say? Was it line from Hawks when you captured twice? Twice, bro. We should totally get together and check out the report. I'm not a bad actor, huh? Confess your crimes now and give up.
You're a good actor.
Thank you. That was what he said.
It's official.
Yeah.
Obviously with My Hero, we're really entering that endgame now. So I wondered what you're most excited about with that. And likewise, we've just had season 2 of Earthspark. Talk about what was most exciting for you about coming back for that, and how optimistic you are we're getting season 3.
Well, the end. I don't want to say the end. Yeah, we're almost there though. With My Hero, a lot of things are tested and challenged in this coming sort of like war arc we're about to start entering, and how everyone adapts. This big desperate battle for like pretty much the city and thus the world. And like so many characters are affected and changed by the coming, like what's happening. I mean, even the key visual for Dabi versus Todoroki just dropped, and it's like that's going to be a monumental fight. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how all that stuff gets adapted. Like Horikoshi's like artwork in this last arc is just like insane. He's like putting in crazy hours. So I just want to like have everybody see what that looks like in motion, voiced and everything. And Earthspark, it was really exciting to see how they expanded like the story and the world, and like it takes place some time later from the end of season 1, and like we start getting a little hints of like more Cybertronian lore and like more of what the Ember Shards are about, and like what they do and what happens when other people get their hands on it. And we're fingers crossed for a season 3. Very, very optimistic, very, very hopeful. But you know what would help us more is if all of you watched it. So go watch Transformers Earthspark on Paramount Plus. I played Thrash, and he's like a new Cybertronian, or he's Terran. He's a new Terran, the Transformers robot. So yeah.
All right, lovely. I think that is all we've got time for. So, ladies and gentlemen, Zeno Robinson!
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for coming by and sitting and hanging out with me for much love. Thank you.
I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimono Cat, Kira Stanada. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。